That, to be honest with you, I thought we played about 3-4 different games today. I thought Georgia came out and really played well early and did everything they do. You know, what they do is we swore we weren't going to let them get to the line 25 times, and we didn't. They got there 26. We've been a team that has been assists. We get 18, you know. We did some of the things we do. They did some of the things they do. Very good rebounding team. I love the way they rebounded, and I thought they never quit, you know, and we made a couple of mistakes again, but for the most part, if you added up the minutes we played well, there'd been a lot of them, and as they say, it's win in advance, and that's what we're going to do and move forward.
Okay, questions for Travis, Brendan, and Denzel? Raise your hand. Let us get the mic to you, and let us know who you are, who you're with. First question, middle of the room.
Zach Rosilla, New York Post. As for Travis, you're kind of emblematic of a Michigan State player. You go into your senior year, you basically doubled all your production. What is it about the program that guys always get better, especially by the time they're seniors?
I think there's a lot of factors into it. Our coaches do a great job of developing us from freshman to senior year. They're pretty good at spotting guys they feel like they can help improve. But really, it's your teammates, honestly. When you're going against a Denzel Valentine every day and a Brandon Dawson every day, you have no choice but to get better. So, I owe it to my teammates.
Next question in front of me.
Viv Bernstein, New York Times. One of the Georgia players said Michigan State played like they've been here before. Did that experience help you, particularly in the last minute they made the run and you had to hit those free throws?
To who?
Well, yeah, as far as myself, Travis, and Denzel, we've been in this position, plenty of times. Then in the huddle, Travis mentioned that, we've been in the position against Wisconsin where we had a big lead, and, we just didn't keep our poise. But in this game, we kept our poise, throughout the game. And as far as, myself and Travis and Denzel, we just have to lead the young guys. So we've definitely, been in this position. I want to say, just against Wisconsin, we've been in this position plenty of times throughout the season.
To our left, far left.
Brandon over here, you pick up that second foul and have to sit for the final 14 minutes. Talk about what that was like in the first half, and then your second half, you were about as efficient as you've been scoring the ball around the basket. Talk about your approach in the second half.
I was frustrated when I got my second foul. I was definitely frustrated. But as far as my teammates and Coach Fife, they just picked me up. They told me, the second half I just have to come out, and just play better. I was playing with, I actually had 3 fouls, finished the game with 3 fouls, but. In that situation when your team needs you, you just have to play smart. Like Coach has been, telling us, throughout the season, just play hard and play smart. And that's what I did, and I just played smart, even though I was in foul trouble.
Front left.
Denzel, can you talk about 6 for 6 from the free throw line? What your mindset was in such a tight situation?
I just knew that I didn't play my best second half, so I didn't want to let the team down. And if we had a loss or something like that, I didn't want to say it's because of me. So I just went to the line like I'm going to make up for it, and, I just knocked him down.
Greg Logan from Newsday, New York, for Travis. Georgia said that Kenny Gaines was battling an injury. Were you aware of that, and did that feed into your aggressiveness going to the basket?
I knew he had missed some game towards the end of the year because of the ankle. But at this point in the season, all that goes out the window. He's going to come out and he's going to play hard, and he's got a shot to play in the NCAA tournament. So my thing was just sticking to our game plan, honestly.
Front row.
Thanks. Jim Comparoni, SpartanMag.com. Travis and Denzel, when Georgia came out in the second half and cut the lead to 2 and they had a chance to tie down low, Matt made a nice defensive play. That spearheaded a run. I think Brendan Forbes hit a couple of threes. Brandon had an and one in that stretch. What was going on the court communication-wise? What do you think fueled you guys to answer their challenge and answer a run right when they were ready to cut it to 2 or tie it?
Travis.
Our thing was just sticking together. Basketball is a game of runs, and other teams are going to make their run, but it's how you respond. And our thing was just huddle up and stick together. We've been in this situation before, and there's been times where we kind of fell apart, and we knew we couldn't do that this time. So we just wanted to stick together.
Yeah, like Trav said, we just wanted to, stay together and stay together and just keep working and keep fighting. We can't control, if our shots are going in but we couldn't control, what we do and how we respond. So we just wanted to respond in a way, that led us to win the game.
Far left.
For Denzel and Travis, 2 months ago, could have you survived a game where in the first half Brandon's in that kind of foul trouble, and Travis, you got off, good looks but missing shots? Could what's happened to you guys from your other pieces on this team? Could have you survived that 2 months ago?
Denzel.
I don't know. That's a good question, but give credit to we're gonna give credit to Marvin and Kobe. They played big minutes for us, and they came in and they were ready to play. Early in the season, they would come in and we wouldn't know what we get, but those guys have stepped up big time, and not just this game, but against in the Big Ten tournament, and a couple games late in the season, they've stepped up their play. So, those guys have come in and played good.
Travis.
Like Denzel said, that's a tough question to answer, but I honestly feel more confident now with our guys coming off the bench and some of our other guys. Just the way they're playing right now, the energy and the focus they've been doing is great for us.
Middle of the room.
Zach Braziller, New York Post, for any of the guys, kind of going on his question about how this team always gets better, it seems, this time of year. Is that the result of coach? What do you think it is, the why Michigan State this time of year is always playing at its best?
Brandon.
I would say it's just our focus. Coming to this game, we wanted to be different. We've been watching all the rest of the games, and we saw that good teams, the Baylor and the Iowa States. Those guys just came out, and I think they were too focused on just a seeding. And tonight, Coach mentioned to us, let's be different. So we just wanted to play. We just wanted to play better. We just wanted to come out and play hard. And I think around this time, it's just our focus, and we were just dialed in.
Please wait for the mic.
Brandon, you've obviously been through this before. What is it about this time of year that always seems to bring out the best in you guys?
Well, I'll just say, having a great coach, as far as, Coach is, and I'll say our coaching staff, they do a great job of, getting us prepared. And, we had an up and down season, but I think our chemistry has been great, especially, playing in, the Big Ten tournament. I think, that's when our chemistry really, start to flourish. But, as far as a team, like I said, as far as myself, Travis, and Denzel, we just have to lead these guys, and I think our chemistry, has to keep, flowing in those late game situations.
We'll take one more question for the student athletes. Okay, we won't. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, questions for Coach Izzo. First question, far left.
Tom, there was a point this year where I think you benched your entire bench, so to speak. You just couldn't get anything out of them at one. And to get what you had in that first half this year out of Marvin, and to kind of survive that and get that run, and Colby, and where is that group?
First of all, I benched myself a few games, so I can appreciate that. But, they learned. I mean, Marv hasn't played a lot of basketball, a lot of years of it, so it took him a little while longer. And, we got to remember, like when Elvin Ellis, he was out the first 6-7 weeks of the season. First game, he sprains that ankle. He was out till right before Christmas. And, when you're not a great player, it's hard to come back from that. And then we couldn't get him time. It was Big Ten time. And then we got him time by necessity. But, because of foul trouble and that, I think they got a little better. And I think they are practicing a little better. And, Matt has been really good. Him coming off the bench, too. And today, he had been really good up until today and just struggled a little bit today. Perfect.
Far left.
Tom, you guys had a good run in the first half, got the transition going a little bit. That come out of defense or what? And that's with Brandon on the bench. What was going well during that time?
I thought we turned them over a little bit, or they turned themselves over. You know, one of their struggles has been turnovers. One of our struggles has been keeping guys off the free throw line. It seemed like they did what they did well. You know, they probably had a few, didn't have that many turnovers. We only had 9, but we scored some baskets off turnovers. That was one thing. We had put them on the line a little bit early and didn't defend very well. We started doing a better job of that. But I thought we got a running game going on makes, misses, rebounds, turnovers, and I thought that was the big difference in the game in the first half. And give them credit. And let me tell you something. This is a very good team. You know, I'm proud of them, not because my nephew's there. I'm proud of them because I've seen Mark go through some of the same things I went through. You know, where people are questioning this, that, and the other thing. We played a lot of good teams this year. That's as good a team as we played. They got in a little foul trouble too. I think the injury. I do think. The injury to Gaines was big. I watched him warm up, and he was limping on that thing. And he still got 12 or 14 points. But that kid's a hell of a player, and I think that hurt. I thought we did a decent job on their 2 bigs. We couldn't rebound with them, which is disappointing. But I thought we did a decent job of walling them. We worked hard on that for 3 days. But that is a good basketball team, tough, runs a lot of good stuff. I just thought our fast break was the difference in the game. The first half, and then in the second half, the same thing. Once they cut the lead, we got a couple of quick buckets off the break, and that was the difference.
Far left.
In your running game, I mean, it's always been a staple of this team this year, I mean, a lot of years. But is it better now even, I mean, the half-court game's a lot better, but is it better now than it was earlier?
Well, I think it is. I think BJ's running a little harder. I think Tom pushes it a little bit, and when we got 2 wings that can shoot it, you know. And we had some bizarre lineups in there because of the foul trouble we were in, but I definitely think our running game is really good. The problem we have, we like that we call blitz and break, runoff makes and misses, but you know, for most of the year, we just did not have enough subs, and that's where we were wearing Trice and Valentine down to nothing. And now we're trying to get back to running. I, you know, still don't have the substitution pattern I'd like to have, but we're an interesting team. You know, you saw a lot of good minutes, and then you saw some, you know, bizarre plays. And I think Georgia deserves some credit for that, and we deserve some blame for that. But we're doing what you're supposed to do in this tournament. We survived, and we're advancing, and it's going to get tougher each game. But I think we learned something from the past games, especially the Wisconsin game, and hopefully we'll keep moving forward here, and our break is a big part of that.
To our right.
Coach, is there something that you would pinpoint as to the reason why Matt was so inefficient from the field tonight?
This is where you wish you were a politician, don't you, so you could be politically correct? Hell no, I can't figure it out myself. You know, I mean, I think he's having trouble figuring it out, too. I mean, he did some good things. He guarded pretty well. He blocked some shots. He got 6, 7 rebounds, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think I'll blame it on one of my assistants. That's what we do at this level. Got to blame it on somebody. Sure as hell ain't going to be the head coach. And you can't blame a player. So one of my assistants is in big trouble when we get back.
Far left.
Roger Rubin from the New York Daily News. Tom, given that you've heard your players say chemistry's at its best so far this season, given that they're describing having learned lessons and are applying them to games now, do you feel like the potential for this team maybe is the highest that it's been?
Well, I think it's the highest it's been this year, but I think it's pretty easy to see we're not a typical Michigan State team. I mean, we don't have maybe as much talent as we had. We do have, you know, I appreciated Brandon, but we've had chemistry all year, you know. We tell our guys you got to play hard enough, good enough, and smart enough. For the most part, we play hard. For them, a lot of times we play good. Now, the third one, you know, that's got to fall on me because we're just not playing as smart as we need to play in certain situations. And it's cost us between that and some free throws. It's cost us during the year. But we have played well enough to be in a lot of games. And I do think that it was fun to listen to the players say, okay, remember what we learned in Wisconsin at halftime? They said it in the huddles. They said it. That's encouraging because that means they're not treating the history like it's just that's the way it is. You treat it that you can't change it, but you learn from it. And I think, you know, we had enough guys that played well to win. We had enough guys that played poorly to keep my job and coach. And now in the next 2 days, we got to figure out what we did right and wrong, and then somehow to stop one of these two teams we could play. But I think this team has had good chemistry, maybe as good as we've had in a long, long time. They get along well. They hang together. They do everything together. You know, we don't have the superstar syndrome, and it's been fun to watch them grow together. It just sometimes, I got to tell you, it's an out-of-body experience once in a while, that things we do for no reason. You know, clock's on our side. We talk about it, and we've made a few mistakes. And I guess somewhere, seriously, I've got to take onus on that, because it's my job to make sure they know what they're doing in certain times, and we'll try to get better at that in the next 2 days.
Back right.
Ernie Boone, Michigan Bulletin. Tom, to me, that first half was as physical as basketball games I've seen, and they seem to let the kids play. Can you comment on the physicality, especially in the second half? It didn't seem to let that contact go.
You know, I know those are two physical guys we played against, but they probably think we are too. You know, I'm just, for me, going through what I went through in my 20 years here, I constantly say this is like belly bumping. You know, I mean, this isn't physical at all compared to the way it used to be, and thank God it's not that way anymore. But I would agree. You know, I think we learned something at Illinois, and then Purdue, and then at Indiana, and then with Maryland and Wisconsin. We got tougher this year. We were not a very tough team. We were not. We've gotten tougher, but I'd say that the proof's in the pudding. We might have played a little better, but that was a tough team we played against. They had men on those boards. They went after them. They did a hell of a job. I mean, that is a good basketball team, a well-coached basketball team, and I think one that has, you know, he's going to do hopefully what I did, you know. People were on my butt, and we made it, and all of a sudden we took off. I think he's got a lot of bright days ahead of us at Georgia.
Take two more questions, front row, and then to our right.
Tom, Jim Combroni, SpartanMag.com. You said you wanted to foul without defending. That was one of the keys. And you got
Yeah, they shot 26 free throws, so he did a hell of a job on that, but go on.
Especially early on, Brandon gets a couple. Was he just maybe too keyed up? I think he bit on a pump fake. He helped on one. He looked like he read what the offense was going to do. What were your thoughts with
Well, when you're too keyed up, you sometimes can make mistakes, or when you're not focused in on what the scouting report says, you can't. You know, those guys are tremendous shot fakers. Durzic is unbelievable. You know, I watch film after film, and you know, it's easy to coach that and tell him this is what he's going to do, but when he's doing it on the floor, I think it is different. Sometimes coaches don't appreciate that, but I think it's harder than you think. After that first little part, I thought we did a decent job defending them, but boy, when I looked out there and there was Marv and Kobe, and you know, I said, wow, just hold on, you know, and that's what we tried to do, and then we started building on it because of a couple turnovers.
Last question, back left.
Chris Solari, Lansing State Journal. You kind of go into where I was headed. Marvin Colby at the end of that first half came in and played some pretty strong defensive minutes for you guys. Obviously, at the end, Woolman had that foul, but can you talk about the job and the minutes that both of those guys had?
It was phenomenal. You know, we just had no choice. And, you know, Kobe is a doctor. I mean, he's in medical school, so smart as they come, and you really could, you know, he really understands things. And Marv is a guy that I think has grown as much as anybody. He was a kid that didn't play, you know, till he got to high school, and so he's behind in some ways, but boy, he's improving. He's listening. You know, his roommate is Tom and Javon Bass, and those guys have done a heck of a job with him. And look, it might not sound like it, but I'm so excited that we're moving on, because not only do you worry about the first game more than any game, but the first game against what I knew was a solid team. I'd rather play a team that's got crazy athletes and not as solid than I would that's kind of like us, you know, solid. They can grind it, they can run a little bit, and I will say that, you know, a healthy Gaines, I think, might have made that game a little different too. But we've had some injuries all year. We'll take it. I'm excited where we're going, and looking forward to the challenge ahead of us on whichever team wins.
Okay,
Thank you.
Coach.